Looking back on my Steam year in review, it's funny that I didn't play any games released in 2023. My most played game was actually released all the way back in 2010, Fallout New Vegas. This was my first ever playthrough of the game, and I played the hell out of it. I beat the main story, did some side quests, and played all 4 DLCs. This game blew me away with its fantastic role-playing elements, which is exactly what I want to talk about today, why I think it succeeds at being a Bethesda RPG, despite being made by a different studio, Obsidian. Who knew Bethesda's best game would be one that wasn't even made by them? I have briefly played Fallout 1 and 2, and of course those games are very heavy with the role-playing and very good on their own, but I won't be comparing them here since I want to focus more on comparing New Vegas to the other Bethesda Fallout titles. First things first, I really like how mysterious Courier 6 is as a character. Courier 6, or just the Courier, is the player character of New Vegas, and all you know about them when you begin the game is that they were a courier making a delivery, got intercepted by some smooth-talking, checker-suited dude, and shot in the head, and now they are waking up in some doctor's house. The courier's backstory is pretty unclear. You do end up piecing together what the delivery was and what happened.
What in the goddamn?
And the Lonesome Road DLC also provides some extra lore.
I'm like, what'd he say fuck me for?
Aside from this, you don't know much about the courier as a person. Who knows if they lived in a vault or grew up in the wasteland? All that matters now is what the player decides to do going forward, the decisions they will make, and ultimately, the fate of the Mojave.
Yeah! Who won the lottery?
Fallout 3 and 4 sort of did the opposite of this by giving your player character a much more in-depth backstory, which is fine of course, but I prefer the way New Vegas does it. There's not a long sequence that you play through. You just talk to Doc Mitchell a bit, and then you're out on your own. The courier having very little background information made me feel more connected with them. Plus, I've always found it a little odd that in Fallout 4, after watching your spouse get shot in the head, you can just go out and romance another character.
Wait a tick. That means I'm single again! Oh, behave!
That, combined with the fact that the sole survivor is voiced, kinda made me feel like I was playing as a pre-made character and not my own. Another great element of this game is how impactful your choices are. Fallout New Vegas uses a reputation system similar to the one seen in Fallout, Fallout 2, and even Fallout Tactics. Your reputation determines how different settlements and factions will treat your character. It makes every choice and action you take much more meaningful. It makes sense that messing with the group would have consequences like being shunned or vilified, but if you do right by them, then they'll be much more helpful to you.
Tell him to bring me my money. Yeah!
I love this system, and I can't believe it wasn't used in Fallout 4, though it does actually make a reappearance in Fallout 76, which is really cool to see. Fallout New Vegas gives you a lot of freedom. You can kill any NPC in this game, except for followers in your party unless you're playing in hardcore mode, and children. Fallout 4 has quite a few essential characters, which are NPCs that cannot be killed, usually due to them having important quests or just being a prominent character in the main story. I get why they do this. Sometimes a character is needed for moving the story forward, but letting the player be a total psycho and kill almost everyone if they want should always be an option for role-playing games, in my opinion. I don't really play like this personally. I don't really like killing NPCs for no reason, but I do like that I can strut right into the fort and mow down Caesar and his goons whenever I want. Speaking of Caesar...
I'm a tumor, I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor, I'm a tumor, I'm a tumor.
Cool factions are kind of a staple of Fallout games.
The fuck? Who is it? What? I should kick your fucking ass. Who is this?
But New Vegas really outdid itself with them, especially by giving the player the freedom to decide how they want to deal with them.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
You can help out a faction, build up your reputation with them, and even have them help you at Hoover Dam at the end of the game. or you can completely wipe them out. Either way, it's up to you. With most quests in general, there are usually multiple options you can take with completing them, once again leaving it to the player to choose how they want to resolve it. The writing of New Vegas is amazing, and there are some great lines of dialogue.
We shall see how brave you are when nailed to the walls of Hoover Dam. Your body facing west so you may watch your world die.
Nothing to impede progress. If you want to see the fate of democracies, look out the windows.
It's me again, Mr. New Vegas, reminding you that you're nobody till somebody loves you, and that somebody is me. I love you.
And some truly hilarious ones as well.
Man, I'm hungry. I'd give anything for a fancy laugh. Wait, I mean, you know what I mean.
Absolutely not. Caesar is of great use to me. I don't want you harming a hair on that man's head, assuming you could find one.
Also, I might have, sort of plowed his daughter. A little.
I personally find the courier's quest for revenge, then getting pulled into the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, to be more enthralling than Fallout 3 and 4's main stories of, looking for your deadbeat dad or your infant son. I think I prefer it mostly because of the spectacular writing, compelling characters, and the nuance with all of the different factions. Unlike a lot of other video games, it's hard trying to decide who the good guys are exactly.
What do you want from me, woman? I'm in charge of the arena, not the cooking pots.
Despite this game coming out over a decade ago, there's plenty of discussion around which faction is the best for the Mojave, and I think that's a testament to how iconic the main story of this game is. There's also plenty of arguments about which DLC is the best, once again proving that this game continues to be relevant years after release. And I think the writing is the main reason for that.
I survived because the fire inside burned brighter than the fire around me. I fell down into that dark chasm. The flame burned on and on.
Of course, I'm no expert on this, but I do think there's a recipe for a good role-playing video game. Impactful choices, good world building and writing, and lots of freedom. Cook that at 400 degrees and you've got yourself a delicious RPG. Obsidian kind of outdid Bethesda with New Vegas. This game really spoils you with the world building, writing, characters, and the role-playing elements. And it kinda makes Fallout 4 look more like a diet RPG in comparison. I like Fallout 4, but the story and writing is kind of lacking for me, not to mention the removal of the reputation system and the limited dialogue options. Fallout 3 is stronger with the role-playing, but I gotta say, I still prefer the story of New Vegas. This video isn't meant to be hating on Bethesda Fallout games, but rather to highlight how New Vegas succeeds as an RPG, and how Obsidian brought back some really cool stuff from the first two games. Fallout New Vegas is my favorite non-Bethesda Bethesda game, and one of my favorite games, period.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
It's not a perfect game, of course, and there's things about the gameplay that I don't really care for, but the role-playing, the freedom, and the writing is so good that I can pretty easily overlook it. There's also much more beyond the role-playing that I love as well, like the music, the humor, the wild wasteland encounters, and Prim Slim.
Yeehaw!
If you haven't played this game yet, then I highly recommend checking it out. It's Fallout, but
With blackjack and hookers.
what more could you want?
Because war never changes.
He said it! He said it!